Good morning, everyone. Let us start. Do you remember we have been learning Chapter 5, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife? Last time we discussed about wildlife in India, and today we shall learn about birds' life in India and conservation and management of wildlife. Now let me present my screen. Bird life in India. So bird life in India is colorful. Peacocks, pigeons, ducks, parakeets, cranes, and pigeons are some of the birds inhabiting the forests and the wetlands of India. Okay, so some of the birds I think you might have seen earlier. Again, let us see some photographs. Okay. Here, I think all of you have already seen a peacock. So this is a photograph showing a peacock, a very colorful one. And so this is a photograph showing a pigeon. This is also very colorful. Okay. This is a photograph showing pigeon. Then this is a photograph showing a parakeet. Okay. And we have another photograph showing parakeet. This is also a photograph showing parakeet front view. And crane, I think these are the birds having long necks, so this is a photograph showing crane bird. Okay, then these pigeons also there. Okay, so in India we have different types of birds. Say peacocks, pigeon, ducks, parakeet, cranes, and pigeons. Okay, pigeons also you are familiar with it and you also have seen it. So this is a photograph showing a pigeon. This is domestic one, and we have one more. Okay, this is another one, wild. Okay, so let us continue. So that is about birds' life in India. So the following paragraph tells the importance of this wildlife in India. Let us read. See here. We have selected our crops from a biodiverse environment, that is from the reserve of edible plants. So human beings selected crops from different environments. Okay, so we selected crops say from different parts of the world. Okay, and not only the crops, these vegetables also, edible plants also we selected. We also experimented and selected many medicinal plants. So by doing experiment and we selected medicinal plants, okay, for treatment of different diseases. Animals we selected from large stock provided by nature as milk animal. So nature provides us a large number of these animals, okay, different varieties of animals, and from those varieties human beings selected the useful one. We also selected milk animals, you know, these animals which give milk to us, okay, and they also provided us draw power. Animals also provided us draw power, that is, drop animals refer to those animals okay, which can be used for pulling these carts and these lots, okay. Then animals like that, animals provided us transportation, okay. Then meat as well as eggs. So the fish provide nutritive food, and many insects help in the pollination of crops, and these fruit and trees exerting biological control on such insects is harmful. Not only the animals, okay, insects are also doing some useful work in the environment. In biology also you might have learned about pollination, okay, pollination process, okay. See, cross pollination is there due to action of some insect like bee, okay. They will perch from one flower to another flower, and because of that there is cross pollination, and as a result the trees, crops will bear fruits, okay, and nuts, and these grains. Without this activity it would not have been possible, okay. And that means every species has a role to play in the ecosystem, okay. Every species, maybe a small organism or an insect or an animal, okay, maybe large or big, or including human beings, okay, has a role to play in the ecosystem. Every species in the ecosystem is useful to us, okay. Hence conservation is essential. Hence conservation of wildlife, conservation of plants, okay, and the conservation of every species in the ecosystem is required, okay. And it has been mentioned earlier that due to excessive exploitation of plant and animals resources by human beings, the ecosystem has been disturbed. Human beings has been using these natural resources, okay, without thinking for the future, okay, and that is why the ecosystem has been disturbed. And about 1,300 plant species are endangered, and 20 species are extinct. 1,200 species are endangered. Endangered, you know, actually see, these are the species, okay, whose number has been decreasing, and if negative factors like killing and the hunting of these species is continue, in the near future the number of these species will be decreased and may be extinct, and those animals or those plants or insects are categorized as endangered species. And not only this, 20 species are extinct, means not disappeared, okay, totally disappeared from the surface of the earth. 20 species are totally disappeared from the earth's surface, and about 1,200 species are endangered. Endangered means in the near future these species will be extinct, will be disappeared from the surface of the earth if we continue the killing, overexploitation, and the hunting of these species, okay, are continued. Any question from your side? Are you clear? Remember, we have been learning bird life in India, and we have also discussed about the importance of these animals and plants to the human beings. So we have learned that every species in the ecosystem has a role to play, and every species in the ecosystem is doing some useful activity for the environment and as well as for the human beings. And animals are also providing a lot of things, useful things to us. Animals provide us meat, eggs, then they also provide us transportation facilities. They also provide us milk, okay. Plants also provide us many useful things to us, okay, for treatment of diseases. Then plant also provide us food to us. So in this way, every plant and animals in the environment is useful, okay. But at the same time, human beings have been exploiting these plants and animals, okay, excessively without thinking for the future, and that is why these some species, around 20 species, are disappeared from the surface of the earth, and 1,300 plants are endangered, means going to be extinct in the near future if we continue the negative factors, okay. Then let us continue. If you don't have questions, the main causes for this major threat to nature are hunting by greedy hunters for commercial purposes. So what are the reasons for this major threat to nature? Why the number of plants and animals has been declining? So the main causes for this major threat to nature are hunting by greedy hunters for commercial purposes, means for selling. Hunters are hunting using modern technology, okay, using modern rifles for selling the animals. Then pollution due to chemical and industrial washes, then acid deposits, introduction of alien species, and the reckless cutting of forests to bring land under cultivation and habitation are also responsible for the imbalance of ecosystem. See, sometimes due to pollution, due to the chemical pollution and these air pollution, some birds may be migrated and may not be back to their habitat again. Say, for example, by applying DDT, okay, pesticide in the agricultural field or somewhere, then due to the effect of those chemicals, some animals or insects or birds may be migrated to another place and may not be back to their original habitat. And likewise, introduction of alien species, introduction of new species, foreign species to a particular place. Say, for example, in our these forests, in our native forest, if we introduce alien species like eucalyptus, then some of the birds and insects are not familiar with this tree, and these insects and birds may be migrated to another place and may not be back to our forest also. So in this way, because of introduction of alien species, these birds animals may not be back. At the same time, this reckless cutting of forests to bring land under cultivation and habitation are also responsible. Forests, these are the home for the wildlife, and if we cut forests, then the home for the wildlife is lost, and because of that, some of the species are threatened. So these are the reasons for the decline of wildlife in India. Are you clear? Any question from your side? Okay. If you don't have question, let us continue. So we have discussed about the causes for the decline of these plants and wildlife in India. Now we shall discuss how to protect, how to conserve these flora and fauna, how to conserve plants and animal life in India. Okay, that is conservation and the management of plants and wildlife in India. So to protect flora, that is plants and fauna, that is animals of country, the government has taken many steps. Okay, so the following steps have been taken up by the central as well as the state government to protect, to conserve plants and animals in India. So number one, 18 biosphere reserves have been set up in the country to protect flora and fauna. So the first step taken by the central and state government is that 18 biosphere reserves have been set up in India to protect flora and fauna. So what are biosphere reserves? Anybody who can tell me what are biosphere reserves? Actually, these biosphere reserves are multi-purpose protected areas where every plant and animal size is to be protected in its natural habitat. Okay, buffer reserves are multi-purpose protected areas where every plant and animals population is to be protected in its natural habitat. So 10 out of these, that is the Sundarbans, Nanda Devi, Gala Manar, Nilgiri, Nokrak, Great Nicobar, Manas, Simlipal, Pansmarhi, Asnakmar, Amarkantak have been included in the whole network of biosphere reserves. So we have 18 biosphere reserves set up by the government, and out of these 18 biosphere reserves, 10 are recognized by the UNESCO. UNESCO's program Main and Biosphere Reserve, Main and Biosphere program. And see here we have a map. We have a map showing the location of biosphere reserves. See here we have this cold desert, then Nanda Devi in Uttarakhand, cold desert is in Himachal Pradesh. Likewise we have this Dibang in Sikkim. We have Kanchenjunga In Assam we have Manas, then Dibru-Sakhova, then Nokrek in Meghalaya, Rann of Kutch in Gujarat, then Panna, then Asnamar, Amarkantak, and Pansmarhi in Madhya Pradesh, then Simlipal in Orissa, then Sundarban in West Bengal, then Seshasalam in Andhra Pradesh, Nilgiri, okay, along the border of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, then Agastamalai along the border of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, Gulf of Mannar, this is between this Tamil Nadu coast and Sri Lanka. Then we have Great Nicobar in Andaman Nicobar Islands. So these are the 18 biosphere reserves set up by the government. And if you read class 11 books, you'll find a map here, okay, but it shows only 14 biosphere reserves. Okay, so remember, to protect flora and fauna, plants and live animals in India, 18 biosphere reserves have been set up by the government. Okay, so what is the next step? So the next step is financial and technical assistance is provided to many botanical gardens by the government since 1992. Financial and technical assistance is provided to many botanical gardens by the central and state government since 1992 to protect the plants. So what are botanical gardens? So botanical garden is a garden dedicated to the collection, then cultivation, preservation, and displaying a wide range of plants labeled with their botanical names. Okay, if you study at DM College of Science, okay, after after the school life, then you'll find, okay, you will be able to see a small botanical garden in the campus of DM College of Science. Okay, so botanical garden is a garden dedicated to the collection, cultivation, preservation, and display of wide range of plants labeled with their botanical names. So every plant and the trees, on every plant and trees you will find a name, okay, a nameplate displaying this local name of the plant, then scientific name, and some description also given. Then number 3, Project Tiger, then Project Rhino, Project Great Indian Bustard, and many other eco-developmental projects have been introduced. The third step taken by the government is launching of many projects. Okay, for example, Project Tiger to protect tiger in India, Project Rhino to protect rhinoceros. Likewise, we have Project Great Indian Bustard, and many more eco-development projects have been introduced in India just to conserve this particular species. Okay, see here, bustard. See, this is a photograph showing Great Indian Bustard, and this species is also threatened. Okay, number has been decreasing, okay, due to the human activities. This is Great Indian Bustard, and one more photograph is also there. Okay, so this is another photograph showing Great Indian Bustard. And the fourth step, 103 national parks 535 wildlife sanctuaries and zoological gardens are set up to take care of natural heritage. Okay, to protect flora and fauna in India, the central and state government have established 103 national parks, 535 wildlife sanctuaries, and zoological gardens. So what are national parks? So a national park is an area, which is strictly reserved for the protection of wildlife and where activities such as forestry, grazing, or cultivation are not allowed. So in the national park, one cannot do cutting and the collection of firewood. Grazing of animals not allowed. Cultivation not allowed in a national park. So the animals and the wildlife and the birds and others are protected, and these parks are strictly reserved for the protection of wildlife. And about these wildlife sanctuaries, see, wildlife sanctuaries. What are wildlife sanctuaries? A sanctuary is an area which is reserved for the conservation of these animals only, and operations such as harvesting of timber, collection of minor forest products are allowed so long as they do not affect the animals adversely. So in the case of wildlife sanctuary, this harvesting of timber, cutting of trees, then collection of minor forest product, these herbs, then grasses, fodder for the animals are allowed. So long as they do not affect the animals adversely. If there is excessive cutting down of trees, that is not allowed. The collection of resources should not affect the animals in the case of these wildlife sanctuaries. I think you might have learned the differences between national park and wildlife. Both national parks and wildlife sanctuaries are used to conserve, to protect the wild animals. But in the case of wildlife sanctuaries, in the case of national parks, this cutting and collection of firewood, grazing, and cultivation is not allowed. Whereas in the case of wildlife sanctuaries, harvesting of timber, collection of firewood, grazing of animals, and other minor forest product, collection of minor forest product are allowed. So these are some important steps taken up by the central as well as state government. In addition to this, we as a student of geography can also contribute this in the conservation process. By participating in the conservation process, we should not kill animals, we should not kill birds, and we should not burn our forests. And see here in the box we have some information. Migratory birds. Let us read. Some of the wetlands of India are popular with migratory birds. Wetland, this waterlogged area, as you see here in this photograph. Waterlogged area, shallow lakes. During winter, birds such as Siberian crane come in large numbers, and one such place favorable with bird is the Run of Kutch. So this is a wetland. Run of Kutch is in this Gujarat. See here in this area. So in this area, this is Run of Kutch, and at a place where desert merges with the sea, the place where desert meets the sea, flamingo with their brilliant pink plumage come in thousands to build nests mound from the salty mud and raise their young ones. See, flamingo, I think you might have seen earlier also. The photographs you might have seen. I will show you. With their brilliant plumage. Plumage means feathers on a bird's body. Okay, come in thousands to build nest mounds from the salty mud and raise their young ones. And this is one among many extraordinary sights in the country. See, let us see some photographs of these flamingos. See, pink color plumage. This is a photograph showing flamingos. We have some more photographs. See, this is another photograph showing flamingo close up. And this is another one. Okay. And this is the last one, flamingo. So are you clear? Do you have questions regarding conservation of wildlife in India? Or do you have any other question, boys and girls? Okay, if you don't have questions, let us stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class. And don't forget
Thank
to
you,
send.
sir.
Okay, my
Thank
pleasure.
you, sir.
My pleasure. Don't forget to send your names in the WhatsApp group for attendance.
Yes, sir.